So good evening, everyone. I know it's the late evening, but I promise you this session will be interactive. Interactive as in it will not be a monologue, but it will be a dialogue between you and me. So before I start, I want a huge buy-in from you. How many of you are ready to participate in the discussion? Yes, amazing. I see some energy. So who am I? Again, this is something is a title that I've chosen for myself. I call myself intimacy coach, but the term pleasure education, it's something so close to my heart. Like I love pleasure, I think about pleasure. Pleasure is my mission. I feel I have discovered in my journey that pleasure is something that's going to bring positivity. Pleasure is inclusive. Pleasure is not about penetration. Pleasure is not about performance. Pleasure is pleasure. You can get pleasure from eating an ice cream, and you can get pleasure from a toe curling orgasm. So that's where I felt that pleasure education is what is needed in the society, and it is missing. And I can tell you I'm going to share a lot of personal experiences because I was listening to all these talks and I was like, okay, by the end of the evening, I am run out of with almost everything that is called informative. So what I'm going to present, so I'm going to put a case of sex as a social experience. Now, when I say sex as a social experience, I don't mean people need to have sex on the roads. What I'm saying is, can people talk about sex? Can we talk about our personal sexuality? And I give you an example right from the seminar. So I met Dr. Deepak, everyone knows him, Dr. Deepak Jumani. So I asked him for his visiting card and he gave me this. So my instant reaction, it's such a small card. He said, size doesn't matter. I mean, we all kind of burst into loads of laughter, and I have shared this story and everyone laughed. And I think this is what is missing, that we are not able to have these personal conversations where we're just being witty, we're just being funny. So, and I think that has played, these conversations has played a big part in me being sexually confident. That unless, if we are talking about sex in a closed room in like hush tones, like someone is not watching us, we can never be sexually confident. I can tell you there was this experience that I had with my friend. So I went to her home and I was sitting there. It was April 2022 and I was single back then. So she said, okay, what's up in your life? I said, I'm teaching this, I'm doing workshop. So she said, okay, so you're doing theory, practical nahi ho raha hai. Like you're not doing practical, you're just doing theory. And that was something, the way she just said it. And with the same girl, a month after I called her, she's a Tantra teacher and she's in Goa. And she said, Pallavi, I'm off for an evening. And the next day she came back and she said, I went to this evening with a friend and we had a lot of affectionate touch. And I felt a bit, I don't know, there was something that was happening inside me. As a girl, nonchalantly, she just said that she had an affectionate touch experience with a guy friend. It was so difficult for me to process, and then I realized that this is where my own conditioning, my own stigma is coming, that if we have difficulty talking about our personal experiences with women, imagine what we will do with men or what we'll do with romantic partners. So then I realized that is the practice. You do net practice for playing cricket, you need to do that practice with your own friends. You need to talk about sex.
I thought you were asking to do sex with friends.
So talking, and disclaimer.
It's okay.
Okay, so coming to this, we want to have a discussion around sex in the hall. And this is a beautiful, this can help everyone in their client sessions also. That a lot of times we fail to define what we want in the so-called language, language becomes a barrier. Because, so what we do is this question, if you have to pick a metaphor for good sex, so I have done this question in almost all my sessions. I get wonderful experience, wonderful answer. Like someone said, for me a good metaphor would be wine because sex gets better with age. For me, my personal answer would be it's like chili because I like spicy sex. So this picture is again from the answer is from a neuroscientist. He said, for me, good sex is like window. because it gives me freedom. So yes, anyone who would like to share their metaphor of good sex?
Only passion, nothing else.
Metaphor. So if you have to pick an object, that describes good sex for you, what will you pick?
Music.
Music.
So you are objectifying the sex?
No. So like I said that if you pick an object, that is a metaphor. So for example, someone window, someone cake, someone said cushion, towels.
One of my patients had this
Rose.
He had this fetish to do sex on the front seat of his car,
Okay.
What can be the treatment for this?
Okay, yes, object. So because you will realize why I'm asking everyone. So someone said rose. Yes, more answers. Rose, okay. Any other answer? Anyone? A metaphor for good sex.
Not exactly a metaphor.
Galloping horse. Okay, yes, ma'am. So saying.
Yeah, not exactly a metaphor, but soul satisfying.
Okay,
Or
any object?
Touching your soul.
Soul, okay. Beautiful picture, yes. You will see that if everyone speaks today in the hall, these all answers will be different. Rarely I have found two same or all the same answers, and that says that sexuality is personal. There is no standard of sexuality, and that's where in my work with my clients, I try to understand their personal sexuality. It is very important to establish that person that, okay, I need to know that my sexuality is different from, Swati or some other person or Dr. Anita. We are women, but we have different sexual identities. Those identities like understanding and, unfolding of those identities is so important in any sex counseling or therapeutic practice. So yeah, this is a quote by Dr. M.B. Morse. Again, I'm just driving this that she said that we should be able to talk about sex like we talk about weather. Imagine that, in a restaurant, a group of men, or why we have to why the sexual discussions are crass, why they are gross, why they have to be sleazy, or, like all, in North India, they call it as a non-veg joke. Indirectly alluding that, okay, this is a conversation. We can have discussions around orgasms. Imagine, how liberating it would be when, we already are discussing orgasms today, but how about it being a personal experience? At least start from the friends, at least start from some social status, because unless we are dissociating sex from the sociality, the social element of it, there will be a handicap always.
I believe men do have this conversation and they usually boast, I had this, I had that. So it's about interaction between men and women among themselves.
Yes.
So men already are having all these kind of discussions,
Yeah.
and they usually enjoy such conversations.
Yes. Yeah. So how this is linked to anorgasmia? This is linked that because I feel orgasmicness of a woman is about her sexual empowerment. And if a woman is not confident talking about sex with her friends, with her partner, with herself, then she is not sexually empowered. And I can quote, like, Dr. Nima presented the book Literacy of Dr. Laurie Mills. Even I am carrying that book. And she said that I have had more orgasms than the age of my students. So that was like quite, eye-opening for me, that okay, she can talk about it. In fact, I was fortunate enough to be trained from some of the leading sex therapists in West. Like there's one called Dr. Tammy Nelson. And there was this session going on painful sex, and she said, okay, this is the lube, and you can recommend this lube to your clients, and even I use this lube. And I think in that moment again something froze inside me, because I was like, okay, she's 63. I could see that there's so much coming up to me just because a woman just kind of said that I'm using this lube. So then I realized that I have not grown up in an environment where such discussions are so normal and non-judgmental. Today we talk about it, maybe someone will judge, oh, this person is so, horny or something like that. So we refrain, and I think that is something I am blessed to have found a circle of friends. And I see that I'm more closer to friends where I can talk about my sex life or they talk about their sex life. So again, this also stops women from orgasming, because in our society, in Indian society and world over, we have this Madonna whore complex, that A woman, she's trained to be the good girl. Okay, one of the first sex education lessons I had in my college was when a boy said to me that Pallavi, there are two kind of girls. One are to make girlfriends and one are for wives. So that was the first time I realized that there is a difference, and what is that difference is the amount of sexuality a woman can exude. I mean, if tomorrow a woman is like, imagine she's horny and she's saying, okay, I want sex, I want this, I want to go on doggy, come on. You know, is it so easy for a man to kind of just accept? Yeah, she's nodding. Exactly, we women, I mean, I can tell you, leave about, I'm a sex educator practicing for 5 years. And even somewhere I withhold my sexuality because I want to be acceptable. What if he thinks that, okay, I am so pro that I've slept with 10 people? That's the mindset even I have. Like, what if he thinks that, okay, if I express myself uninhibitedly, it might strike him that, okay, I'm having a lot of sex perhaps with other men. So I try to kind of, tone my sexuality down. This happened, now I'm getting over it, but I have seen this happening with a lot of women where they kind of restrain. Don't ask more. It's fine, it's okay. I'm getting enough. Because I cannot exercise my sexuality, because what I will become is this picture. How many of you recognize these pictures? Okay, this is what happens. So we show Mother India. Mother India is like desexualized, sacrificial figure, and it's just 50, 60 years back, like just 20, 30 years back. It's not enough time for us to undo all that conditioning that has been instilled inside us to be great mothers. And if you will see the language, for a woman who likes sex, there is so much of negative language. You call that woman a whore. You call that woman a bitch. You call that woman a slut. But there is no positive language for a woman who likes sex. And someday we all refrain from...
Horny.
So again, if you see horny, it doesn't sound positive.
It's gender neutral. Horny can be a guy and a girl.
Yeah, so just see horny guy and horny girl. Do you see some difference? Like,
we are different, no? Girl and guy is different. Obviously different, no?
So what I'm saying is a neutrality. If you feel that there is more energy towards a horny girl, like when we say horny girl and when we say horny guy, you will feel that, at least I can feel, and I'm not sure, maybe you can share that, do you feel that horny girl means it has more energy towards it? The baggage, like if a girl is horny, or if a boy is horny.
The picture shows it, yeah. That's the horny picture. No. She's not trying to be less sex than
Yeah, yes. In fact, this kind of a difference is not seen in men. Like, we don't have cinematic representations of men from a perspective of a good man and a bad man. It could be a villain. We can show violence, but we haven't shown men's sexuality as this is a good man's sexuality, this is a bad man's sexuality. So this Madonna whore complex also stops women in terms of maybe screaming, making sounds, noises, restraining herself, keeping under control for the fear of being seen as too bold or too whorish. That is a lot of conditioning a lot of women are fighting against. And then this happens. How many of you know this picture? Yeah. Yes? You see, this is what happens when a woman is proclaiming her sexuality in the restaurant. Everyone is looking. The guy is embarrassed. So that's what happens is we cannot process the image of, this guy is looking and he's like getting embarrassed. Why, if she's enjoying, let her enjoy. But this is what we have become, it is said that 50%, 50% is still an number. I think almost 80% women have faked once the orgasm. This is an important matrix. It is from, I couldn't mention it's from Betty Martin. She's a sex therapist. So she talks about this wheel of consent model, where it's an important model for helping women, embrace the touch, the pleasure touch. So because of the shortage, I'm just going to talk about the allow and serve and take. So the touch, I had a female client where she said, my husband is doing everything to me, he's trying to pleasure me, but I'm not orgasming. And then I asked her, are you telling him what to do? I said, no, I'm not telling him, he's doing as per his assumptions. So I said, that is not giving, that is taking. he is giving you touch for his pleasure. And then it blew her mind when I read it. So I understood that even if someone is touching, it's different. It's not the same as you asking them to touch in a certain way. If I say to my partner, I say, touch me here, that is different than me grabbing it and he saying, I'm touching you, I'm doing it to you. So please do refer this. I mean, for women to teach men how to orgasm is to help them understand how they do it. So, lie down. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, coming to what I do, how, apart from working as a personal coach, I'm also the founder of a sexual wellness startup, getintimacy.com. And we offer these 4 C's because we want to offer that integrated approach to our clients to help them heal. So one is the content, the free content that we create through which, Dr. Nitesh discovered me. And then we have courses. So we have a course on female orgasm. So this is an online course where we have illustrated instructions of how a woman should pleasure herself, anatomical, and then there is pleasure map, how you can create your own personalized pleasure map, your orgasm toolkit. It is highly, highly individualized. And we also have community, like we have a Telegram group and we create groups where they are able to talk about it, they are able to talk about their experiences and consultations. So these are the 4 C's where we have seen massive success. We have done like INR 3 million of online courses and we never thought that we could achieve this revenue number. But it was great where people want to consume online content, women want to consume, especially because of the hesitation of going to the clinic and feeling exposed. So we have seen a great reception in this. Content is the future, and I think we are at the right stage to, see a sexual revolution. Thank you.
Thank you. That was an awesome presentation. And all the best for your work. I'm sure, educating people on what is sex and, to go about. It's not enough challenging for people to hear. It's more challenging for you to, how people look at you, the judgments they pass, the labelings they impress. So all of that, I'm sure, you are strong enough to handle and go on and get there. Yeah, all the best.
Absolutely, Pallavi. I've seen some of your, as I mentioned earlier, also seen some of your workshops happening on, of course, your social media channels. And more power to you to take this forward. Thank you.
Thank you.